Hello, 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 hello? Hello. Okay, guys. Hello, once again, for like the third day in a row. I am back to cover some severe storms, this time in like three different areas, actually four different areas. There's the High Plains risk, that'll probably come in later tonight. There's also the Mississippi River and southern Mississippi River and like the south risk, the southeast risk. There's the northeast risk, so that's closer to where I am located. And then we, of course, have the northern Midwest threat near the Great Lakes. So that is probably the most intense threat we're going to see today. However, it's not necessarily going to be anything huge. It's just going to be bigger compared to the other events that are likely to be simultaneous with it today. So, of course, we do have a lot to cover. It's not quite there yet. We're not at the full peak and brunt of this event. However, we're likely going to enter it soon. Probably in the next couple of hours, I would say. 2-3 hours, I would say. So, just bear with me for a second as I get these radars up. And, yeah, we're going to see what happens today. We do have a tornado risk today, so that's one of the reasons why I went live. I also went live due to the wind risk that we have in multiple places today, and the enhanced risk that we have in general. So anyways, let's hop on over to our radar scene. This is what we're currently seeing across the U.S. There is a few severe thunderstorm watches. Specifically, this one is the really only one active, because all of the storms are heading out of this severe thunderstorm watch in northern Michigan. Also, this one, that encompasses 3 counties in eastern Wisconsin. So over here, there was a storm that went through Sheboygan. It did cause a lot of hail, and I was going to cover that initially, but it kind of went offshore before I could go live. We also do have one severe thunderstorm warning in Michigan, but this is also heading offshore near Standish. But there still is a bit of rain with the storm. I wouldn't say hail anymore at this point. Let me just check if we still have that amount of severe thunderstorm warnings. We have, not 7 active, so let me just change that. But yeah, we have a risk in a lot of places today. It's not quite happening yet. I know the northeast risk is going to happen soon, and the Mississippi River or southeast risk is already happening, as you can see here. You can already see severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, mostly with downburst type storms. But other than that, we don't really have much going on, but we do still have some developing storms, and we'll continue to watch those as they grow upscale. So, of course, what is our outlook today? We have a 5% SIG 1 in effect for parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Also, a teeny bit of the UP of Michigan, just encompassing the town of Menominee. But we do have a 5 SIG 1. That basically indicates that tornadoes of EF2 strength or greater can occur within the circled area, which encompasses Green Bay, Eau Claire, Rochester, Mason City, La Crosse, Stevens Point, and Wasau. So all of these regions do need to be aware that tornadoes could develop in their region. There is also a 5% non-SIG'd region over here. I don't know if that's exactly a verb, but I'm going to go with it. This region over here, wait, let me actually use a different color for that. This region over here is not going to pose the threat for strong tornadoes, but there's still a higher than normal chance for a tornado to develop within 25 miles of a given point. Of course, we do have the 2% around that. That extends into northern Michigan. We haven't really seen any tornadoes today yet. But we're still watching to see if anything can occur with these storms in Michigan, but they're mostly moved offshore at the moment, so the risk is heading into Canada at this point. We do also have a risk in Canada. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings on the border of Ontario and Quebec. This one, a little bit of rotation, but it's nothing too concerning, and I think that could be inflow. I know I say a lot of things are inflow, but this might actually be near Ile-aux-Almet. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's some sort of place name there. We also do have our risk in the northeast. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning earlier near Nanticoke and Wilkes-Barre. Let me change my color again. There. But now our threat is going to shift a little bit further north, and we might also see some storms develop down here. It's just going to be kind of similar risks to the southeast. Maybe some downburst winds. Not really downburst winds, but less of a line and more just individual storms that produce damaging winds, I'm pretty sure. Even though there could be a line that develops with that system too. This is the main downburst risk, where we have this mesoscale discussion over here in Louisiana and Mississippi. That's the main downburst risk. They're pretty common when you get into the summer months. Over here, we are in July now, so it's pretty typical to see some sort of downburst winds and strong storms over there with a lot of rain. But that's what we're currently seeing. We do no longer have any severe thunderstorm warnings in Michigan, so that severe thunderstorm watch will probably be allowed to expire in a minute. Not literally, but like soon. So we have 6 severe thunderstorm warnings active. Well, technically, I think this is 7. I don't know why it says 3 in Canada, 2 in Canada, but there's actually 3. And that's what it does every time because of my hockeys. So this is the first day of July. We aren't expecting as much severe weather in July as usually occurs. However, this event definitely is changing the mode a little bit of what we will see in July. We'll see if anything else develops in July, but this is the main risk we're going to see probably all month, honestly. I mean, there is tomorrow, but tomorrow doesn't look as good anymore, so... Anyways, guys, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom already. I didn't really think to go to the bathroom before I went here, so I'm just going to go now, and hopefully things don't get too crazy while I'm gone. I'll be back in like 7 minutes. Oh, I'm still muted, my bad. I didn't realize it was still muted. Or maybe I wasn't. I don't know. Is there like another hotkey or something? Wait. I don't know. I think I was just still muted. Sorry about that. I was just saying that there's these new severe thunderstorm warnings in Canada, but there's not really much else. You can see there's still a little bit of effect. The storms are still affecting Michigan a little bit. That line that passed through and originally originated from, like, Colorado. They're still impacting Michigan a little bit near Bad Axe and Harbor Beach, but not so much anymore. So that's good news. Still some storms there. Special weather statement in effect. So we're just waiting for our storms to develop here in the Northeast, too. We're waiting for them to develop. There is one special weather statement heading towards Greenville and Catskill along the New York Thruway there, but that isn't really developing as much. You can see there's a bunch of tiny little storms developing on the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border, too. These are probably not much of a wind threat yet, but they might pose a risk for wind soon. Just little storms at the moment. Our main wind risk right now is down here in the southeast. So let's get some cameras up here just to look at what's going on. My bad. My bad again. So let's look at Alabama. I forgot how to get cameras. Can you show cameras on this again? This is another one I was confused about. So I guess you can't. Alright, here, let me just look for county. Let me see what these are doing. Are any of these 70-mile-per-hour warned? No. None of these are 70-mile-per-hour warned. There is actually a severe thunderstorm warning in North Carolina now. So that's in the Appalachians there. Let me look near Coleman. Alright, Coleman. Yeah. Why is it not letting me look? Is there no cameras there? I guess I'm gonna have to. Okay. County. What county is Coleman in? Coleman County. Should have known. Alright, I don't know why this is not working. Is there no cameras here? Yeah, I don't know how this works. I'm gonna not be able to show cameras there. Let me look at Georgia. Because there is a severe thunderstorm warning there. Let me see where exactly. It's northeast, or north of Atlanta, near Elijah. I don't know. There's no... Oh, no, the cameras are here. Sorry. There's a camera. Alright, so here's a camera, a good camera in this region. Let me just transition to the scene. Oh, let me get this back. Here's a good camera in the region. You can see it's pouring rain down there, but not much. You can see these light bulbs, these traffic lights swaying a little bit. So there's definitely some wind in the storm, but it's not affecting anybody's driving at least. But definitely some winds. I don't know if there's a thunderstorm winds. We're not fully in the thunderstorm yet, probably. Let me see where. Sorry about that. I also don't think you can actually see it. But over here, this is what the camera looks like. There are 60-mile-per-hour winds with this. This is heading south of Elijah. So pretty much right where this camera is, there is some lightning strikes and some hail. But most likely wind with that storm. So that's something to know over there in Georgia. Georgia, the state. And we're just waiting for more storms to develop. We will get a new SBC outlook in about an hour, maybe less. But I don't imagine that much will change. Because I don't really see much of a difference. We could look at the models again, but I kind of already looked at them, so. What? Weird, it said I was signed out for some reason. I have no idea why it said that, but whatever. So there's still some storms trying to develop on the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border and Pennsylvania-New York border near Milford. But they're not doing much right now. Just a few small storms, most likely going to pose a wind threat over here as they move down southeast. You can already see there was a wind damage report near Scranton. Over about a tree down over about 29, so that already existed. Let me see how many severe thunderstorms we have. 12. It does look like these storms near Gutenberg and Manchester are trying to develop, but they're not in the main risk, so I wouldn't be too concerned with them. They're not really heading in the direction of the main risk either. They're heading more east-northeast. They might pose a hail threat, though, but there's no severe thunderstorm warnings on them yet. Not really seeing much right now, but I bet that's going to change as time moves on. We do have a lot in Canada still, where all these severe thunderstorm watches are. Is this a tornado warning? No. It just looked like it because of the heat warning. But there is some strong winds potentially near Mansfield at Pontefract and Otter Lake in Quebec. We also do have a few storms near Ottawa as well. You can see little storms trying to get together, merge. And we do still have our storms near Saguenay that have potential, but I'm not really expecting much from them. We now have another severe thunderstorm warning in Louisiana. Now for Lafayette, or just west of Lafayette. 60-mile-per-hour winds on that. So mostly a wind threat for that storm, but we're still watching it. Definitely could pose a risk for, well, winds. We do have another severe thunderstorm warning over here in North Carolina in the mountains, near Franklin. It's probably more of a downburst type system because you can see really low reflectivity values on that storm, so it's either low precip or just downburst type storm. It's weakening or something. What are these warnings about? Oh, air quality. Okay. Let me just check something. Oh. I didn't even realize, but there was actually a tornado in Michigan yesterday with that supercellular type storm in the UP. 85 miles per hour, but that's basically what they were calling for. Like, they were calling for 85 to 110 miles per hour, so they got it spot on there. There's some sort of storm in Colorado. Let me see that. Near Iliff. Oh, that must have been yesterday. Because when I wasn't live, there was a tornado yesterday near Iliff. But it's just one damage point right now. 105 miles per hour. Alright, so we're still waiting for storms to develop. I'm unsure when the mesoscale discussion for this is going to come out. Let me just see the models one more time, just to see when storms develop. I thought they would develop earlier. I think I was looking at their storms in Iowa, which were predicted well. But it's besides the point. The 18ZH triple R is coming in, so let's look at that. Alright, wait. Where's these storms? Okay. Sorry. Here. So there's those storms in Iowa continuing to develop. Very small storms. They're definitely not going to be the main threat. It looks like we get a bunch of storms to develop quite a while from now, actually. 6 or 7 p.m. local times, Central Daylight Time. I don't know, I was expecting them to form earlier, but also it seems like they cluster up fairly early as they enter into Wisconsin. So the main tornado risk would probably be over here, mainly. Let me see sounding in this area. This would start at 0Z, so just a bunch of storms in Iowa and stuff. Let me see. There is a tornado hazard. Not bad, not bad. I mean, I feel like it's not really a curved storm slink either, but the temperature dew point spread is a little iffy. It's okay, but it's getting there. It's getting close to not being good. Then up here in Minnesota, where the main risk is, near Rochester, there is another tornado threat, even though the sounding doesn't look as good. The hodograph, I meant. Good Cape. It's a bit contaminated. There is less of a temperature dew point spread. Here are all the analogs. A lot of them for significant hail. Yeah, not a large probability of an EF2 tornado. What about up here? There is also a tornado risk up here in northern Wisconsin where some storms are forming over the bay there, north of Green Bay, which is, I think, Green Bay. Yeah, about the same environment. So, we have a moderate environment for tornadoes as we move on later in the day. Not anything crazy, I don't think, but worth a 5 sig 1, I would say. Something could happen. Maybe a brief spin-up strong tornado. But we're mainly just here right now to cover the wind threat that is already existing in the south and the northeast, which we're still waiting storms to develop here. We've got a few at the moment, but none of them are severe. And of course, we have our severe thunderstorm warnings in the southeast. And of course, in Ontario and Quebec. I feel like this is trying to rotate a little bit. It's kind of hard to see on this radar, but it's south of Fort Collonges, near Ile du Grand Calumet, which is that place I was mentioning before. That does look like it's trying to make a hook. It's a little bit of a supercell, but I'm not sure about it. Sometimes these radars are not to be trusted. Sometimes, not all the time. And there's no tornado warning on it yet, so we'll wait. Once again, guys, we're just waiting for some more storms to develop as we move throughout the day. We'll probably be here with you for a couple of hours, just to make sure nothing crazy happens before then, when we expect storms to mostly fire. Does look like there's some sort of well, that existed before, and it's weakening, actually, so never mind. Never mind. Pretty inactive in our main risk area right now. Those storms from the morning have dissipated, or moved to Canada. But otherwise, we do still have a lot of action going on. Of course, we could also talk about some of the heat we're experiencing. We are experiencing quite a bit of heat. Generally, let me look at the temperature thing. I don't know why I have two model ones here. Here is the temperature. It is hot. Oh, wait, that's not it. Where is temperature? Temperature. Oh, it must be in winter weather or something. No, actually, it's not in winter weather. Where's the temperature? I guess this works. That's not really the temperature. Alright, well, here's the NWS forecast. You can see it here. It's going to be hot all across the eastern United States, and a little bit in the western United States, too. Of course, it's always hot in Arizona, so I'm not surprised by that. But you can see 101 in Nashville, Tennessee. So that's definitely a concern up there. Definitely, you could die from that if you're outside for a prolonged period of time. Over here in New York City, it's still 92. In Michigan, it's 97 and 96. 96 in Chicago. It's actually warmer in Tennessee than it is in Texas, which I find pretty surprising. 99 in Dallas and Abilene, I believe that is. And then over here, it's 98. Or no, 93. The bay's in the way. So 93 over there in Florida. 94 up here. And 96 in Tallahassee. So some very intense heat ongoing right now. It's probably what's making these thunderstorms develop and bubble a little bit. They're a little more bubbly. Like popping up out of nowhere. That's kind of typical with July. So we can't really predict what happens as well. Since they just come out from the come out as pieces of convection from the hot temperatures. So that's what usually happens. We're still watching these storms as they develop and progress. Still have all 60-mile-per-hour wind warnings for the severe thunderstorm warnings. No 70-mile-per-hours yet. Although there's probably some that would exist in Canada if they separated those warnings. Definitely looking tornadic here. I can tell. Mansfield at Pontefract. But no CC drop or anything like that. It's just looking tornadic. You know, that could be inflow too, but I don't know. I gotta check. This is the rotation. This, I don't know what this is. Just ignore that. This right here is the rotation, which still is a little bit, but it's not anything crazy. So, we'll see what happens with that storm. We do still have our line that was originally in Michigan, now heading into the Wyerton-Owen Sound area in southwestern Ontario, and a little bit into Manitoulin Island. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, Manitoulin Island. But I will admit, there probably was a little bit more going on before, but we'll still stay on here, especially for the threat that will materialize over the next few hours. Probably in Wisconsin, Minnesota in 3 hours, I would say, from now. Like, we'll start seeing our first storms develop. And still not a lot developing in this northeast risk yet, but I imagine that will change eventually. You can see near between Port Jervis and Allentown, there is a few storms developing, but I wouldn't say they're strong or anything like that. They're just pop-up showers at the moment. Once again, guys, if you have any questions on the forecast upcoming, just make sure to comment and just ask those questions, just in case if you're wondering about what the weather will be like in your area or anything like that. Because I can't answer them now, because there's not really much going on. I mean, there is a little bit, but no tornado warnings or, like, big severe thunderstorm warnings. Not as much rotation here anymore near Campbell's Bay. Present? No, I keep mixing up the heat warning for the tornado warning. It just looks similar. The color. I need to change the color, I guess. Still, this severe thunderstorm warning west of Lafayette. What direction is it moving? I think it's west, yeah. It's moving a little bit north of west along the I-10 corridor. I don't think it's a downburst type storm because it's not weakening, but definitely some winds with that. I would say so. Sorry about all the noises my phone makes. I have to keep my notifications on. So. But yeah. Let me see how many severe thunderstorm warnings we have. 11. Okay. I think we have more than that, actually, because they always don't count some of the Canada warnings. This is 1, this is 2. This is 3, this is... Okay, I think that's 1. Yeah, it does look like they're deactivating this severe thunderstorm watch over here. So that's good news for Michigan, but there still will be a risk later on, potentially, with those storms that fire in Wisconsin and Minnesota. They might eventually go towards your area. But nothing in Michigan at the moment. Didn't seem like there was too bad of a wind threat there. We will get a new SBC outlook probably in about half an hour. Stick around until then. We'll be here. Still have a lot of lightning in the storm in New York. It's turning into a bit of a linear system as it heads towards the east and a little bit towards the south. You know, this is kind of heading more east rather than all this convection. I don't think that, because sometimes that does mean there's a more tornadic threat with this, but that's definitely not going to happen with this because it looks like that. It looks like that. So it's just plainly because it looks like that and there's a bad environment, so... I think it's just heading more east because the cold pool's surging it. There's a little bit of a cold pool in it, probably from the strong winds. And rain. But there's no outflow boundary there, so I'm unsure. At least that we can see. We also do have some storms developing in Montana. There is a small risk over there. Near Butte, Boulder, and Helena, and down towards Dillon. There is a small risk for some severe storms to develop. None of these are severe at the moment, but definitely could provide some downburst winds in the future. Just a little bit of a damaging wind risk there. It's mostly damaging winds that we're talking about today, to be honest. Over here in Jasper, we still have a strong storm with lots of lightning at the moment. Let me look at the winds here. Not crazy, but still worthy of the 60-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. Let me just shut these off because this is annoying. I'll turn it back on after the live stream. Just a strong storm in Jasper. Not too bad. Just go indoors. It's what you need to do. Uneventful situation going on right now, but a little bit in the northeast, so we're still watching that, and a little bit in the south, too. Not much in our main risk area, though. We still have our special weather statements in this finger, you could say, of Michigan. But you can see, the storm originally that was a hailstorm near Sheboygan has completely dissipated. Or unless if it's a product of the radar. No, it's not. It's actually dissipated. But yeah, it's always unclear what these July threats will do. It's a lower chance, but it can still cause some impacts. Definitely a little more unpredictable, for sure. This is old, I know. Yeah, it looks like the storms near Dubuque are weakening to an extent. Not too much. But you can also see the storms near Mason City. Mostly rainstorms at the moment. Not much else. Like a little bit of convection. But yeah, otherwise not much to talk about yet. Weird little thing here, but I think that's just... I don't know what that is, but... Looks like maybe an inflow notch just trying to develop here, but it's in, like, the wrong direction. So... Maybe it's overcome by an alveolar boundary? I don't know. Alright, guys, I'm gonna go once again. Not end the stream, I mean, just go. I'll be back soon. Hello, people. I'm back. Sorry about the delay. I don't know what I was doing. I was just waiting for the severe weather to get back. But we do have some new mesoscale discussions, so let's look at those. We have one new mesoscale discussion from Milwaukee and the southern Wisconsin area all the way down to Des Moines, Iowa. This is partially for tornadoes, but that's not the main concern. The main concern is supposed to be the wind threat. So we'll watch that. There's also a hail threat with this too, up to tennis ball size hail. So we're continuing to watch. The storms will likely fire soon in this region. Probably in late afternoon, but if not, early evening. And these storms potentially could do something I didn't realize, but they're more like a hint of what's going to happen in the future, I would say. We're going to see storms like this try to develop. Then we just got a mesoscale discussion for western New York, where a watch is possible. This is probably from these Canadian storms. They're going to enter into western New York over time. So eventually they're going to become a threat for them. But no tornado threat with these or anything like that. Mostly a wind threat. And these probably will be the storms that head all the way down to New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So that's what we're watching. It does seem like our threat will materialize a little bit earlier here, but not too early, not too early. We also do have another mesoscale discussion over here in Montana, in Idaho, but it's not really for much. We just have a small threat over there. Let me see how many severe thunderstorm warnings are now. I think there's a lot. Because all these storms in Alabama are getting severe thunderstorm warnings. It's a big cluster. And some in Georgia, too. One right near Atlanta, actually. 60-mile-per-hour winds. Let's see. Alright, 22. So anyways, welcome guys. We're just tracking the severe weather threat all across the U.S. I mean, it's mainly in Wisconsin, Iowa, in Illinois, and Minnesota, but we're going to see it in other places too. We kind of already are, especially in the Deep South. But we did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning for Kingston, New York. This is heading towards the southeast. This is like a precursor to all of the storms that are going to head into New York in the form of a line later on. So we're waiting for that. We also do have a few storms over here in western New York, but that's not the storms that we're expecting to come from Canada into New York. They're heading southeast. Sorry, I just keep getting something in my mouth. Of course, we do have another mesoscale discussion over here that was issued recently, but that's mostly just talking about the, wind threat. What do we have to watch? So not too much happening yet, but it does look like storms will develop in Iowa any moment now, probably. I mean, this was issued 30 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago, actually. Let's see if we got a new SBC outlook, because I know that's supposed to come out soon. So let's look. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. You can see not much has changed, probably. Maybe a little bit of an extension of these slight risks, but not much. Still have their 5 sig 1, but it has extended a little bit further south, which makes sense because it's more in line with the mesoscale discussion now. It includes Waterloo, Iowa now, and Madison, Wisconsin. But it also still includes Green Bay, Rochester, and Appleton. And you can see Minneapolis is getting out of the threat a little bit, so that's good news for them with the tornadoes. But you can still see they're in a bit of a wind threat still. There's still wind threats existing over here, but it doesn't look like the wind threat in New York is going to be especially strong, even though it kind of says it here, 65 to... No, wait, no, that's wrong. This is 65 to 80 miles per hour. You can see it here. So there you go. This also almost extends down to Dubuque, the 5 Sig 1, or at least the Sig 1. So definitely some strong storms are possible very soon, seems. That's what we're looking at. I will have to go in a little bit to eat. I mean, I guess I could eat on here, but I don't know. I know I'm eating dinner kind of early, but whatever. I'm hungry. I didn't have lunch, so. We do have a huge severe thunderstorm warning over here in Quebec. Only for a few little storms, so I'm surprised it's that large, but I bet there's more storms that actually go up here, so that's probably why. This probably goes up towards Wematashi. In that region. Also, I think Parent's here somewhere. I know there's another town named Parent here somewhere. I have no idea what this is. I've never seen this town before, but whatever. I just look at maps a lot. I don't know. But anyways, we're still waiting for more storms to develop. Particularly in Iowa, north and south. But it doesn't look like that's happening yet. We're still waiting, though. Still waiting. Currently have 20 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Still some stuff to cover. Kingston's over here. So there's a severe storm still there. Still some stronger storms over here in western Montana, but they look like mostly downburst type systems. So that's good news. I mean, it's not a very strong storm, but downbursts can still cause damage, I would say. But they're not severe or anything like that. You can see there's still a little bit of a cluster of storms, kind of supercells, kind of just small little showers north of Dubuque. So we're still watching those storms as they develop, or kind of weaken, to be honest. We still have a few storms or rain showers near La Crosse, most likely. So that might be a little bit of convection in that region. It might inhibit the tornado threat to an extent. We're almost here in New York. Just a few more miles until it reaches across the St. Lawrence River into New York from Ontario. Still lots of storms over there. And this is still providing a wind threat, but not that much of one. We still have a few storms on the Pennsylvania and New Jersey border. They haven't really moved much, to be honest. There is also another one near Wilkes-Barre. I don't know if these haven't moved much or these are completely new storms. There keeps being storms that develop there, so that's interesting to note. Snow is the tiniest portion of Illinois in the Sig 1 risk. But I know that's kind of unrelated. Looks like some snow in northern Alaska, but that's pretty typical. There was a winter storm warning here a few days ago, but no longer in effect. Just check some. So still waiting for more development. We are expecting development now. Yeah, we're still expecting it. In Texas and New Mexico, with this new mesoskill discussion. This is mostly for some wins, but not much else. That is approaching where that slight risk was for today, so we'll see what happens with that. It's looking a little weird, this storm, but I think that's just inflow over there. It might have a good inflow on it, but not anything crazy. And it's so small, so I wouldn't expect much of it. But it is in that risk now, so we'll see if anything develops from it. It is in the mesoskill discussion, too. Be right back. I just need to check on something. Hopefully it won't be as gone for as long. That wasn't as long, right? I don't know. Still not much going on. Alright, guys, I think I'm gonna end it here just because I know there's more coming, but I probably went live a little earlier. I think I was going over the damaging wind threat earlier, but oh. I mean, we do have a 70-mile-per-hour wind warning, so maybe I should cover that. We do have 70-mile-per-hour winds in Alabama, south of Phil Campbell, and near Hackleburg, too. Let me just make sure we don't have any other warnings like that. I mean, I don't know if it'll go, but we'll see. I mean, we don't really have any other warnings besides that letter, 70 miles per hour. So, guys, I think I am going to go, but I'm definitely going to come back, so I'm not even going to do my outro. I'm just going to, you know, end the stream here, just because it's going to come back. We're going to come back in, like, an hour. So, I just need to go eat dinner and do stuff, so just be aware of that. I've been out for, like, half the live stream anyways, so I feel like it's just worth it if I just leave. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching.